Two bills and one constitutional amendment to consider today. I'm going to ask Representative Duncan, if he will, to present. Is it 258?
Senate Bill 258.
All right, Senate Bill 258.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Here to present Senate Bill 258, which passed this committee and our body in the House as House Bill 990. This measure allows for, if somebody makes an appeal for their property tax, it just makes sure that that property tax can't increase. It can only either stay the same or go down. In addition, we've added a couple of additional bills that have passed through the House. House Bill 862, this is a provision, a law that will allow soldiers that come back from serving to not have to pay penalties that would appear on their property tax since they were out of country serving our nation. In addition, House Bill 919, the rural health care bill, we've added to this, which allows us to laser focus tax dollars directly to the crisis areas in our state in the rural health care industry. With that, Mr. Chairman, I've got a small amendment I'd like to make. Just Representative Quick had brought something to my attention. If I could present that amendment language.
All right, as I understand it, what we're dealing with here is a bill that was originally introduced in the Senate by Senator Miller that dealt with the prohibition of raising assessments on an appeal. And then to that has been added House Bill 990, which passed out of the House, and also your rural health care bill, and also
862, David Knight, Chairman Knight.
Chairman Knight's bill regarding veterans, disabled veterans, correct?
That's correct.
So everything other than the underlying Senate bill has been passed out of this House. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Do I hear a motion from the committee? All right. There's a motion and second. Do pass. Is there an amendment?
Yes, sir, there is an amendment.
Okay. If you would state your amendment, please.
Line 37, we'd like to add after the word organization, which otherwise meets criteria in A1. And this just closes a small loop that that goes back to the definition for a rural health care organization.
Do I hear a motion on the amendment? All right, there's motions and a second on the amendment. Is there discussion? All in favor of the amendment say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Amendment carries. Now, is there any discussion on the underlying bill as amended? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes on the rules as a committee substitute.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Are you leaving us? Okay. All right. Which one of y'all are going to present? Senator Ginn, come join us.
Mr. Chairman.
Get one out of the park.
Members of the committee. It's a good government bill.
Now that it's been amended by the House, well, of course.
Oh, improved is what they call it.
Okay. Present your bill, please, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senate Bill 379, the identical verbiage was passed in the House unanimously. Said they basically we have some fire districts across the state that have an elected governing body that are supported in part or in whole by ad valorem taxes. Said they act pretty much like most municipal fire departments. Said they provide strictly fire services to their citizens, and the whole object of the bill is to allow those fire departments to use their tax received money to provide better service to their community with tax exempt purchases and make them sales tax exempt. And my friend Commissioner Lynn Riley informed me that they were not, which I was really disappointed, but she said if we can pass this bill, we can get them sales tax exempt.
All right. And I understand that there are some additions to this bill.
Really glad to see those, Mr. Chairman. Said I really love it when you add House Bill 924, which I understand Representative Bubba Epps is passionate about, that helps goodwill sales tax, or excuse me, the 501c3 specializing in retail sales of donated items, organizations of the state, said that are educational and and purpose. It's a great bill. Love the addition that was added there. And also, there's my understanding is there was a substitute to House Bill 982. Another great idea that will help the citizens of the state with evaluation of their income-producing property tax discussions with the assessor's office.
And I think there might be one more. Do you see a CUVA bill in there?
I can add one if you'd like. I got a great CUVA bill. Said they be glad to add that in. This would be the appropriate time to add that in if you'd like to help.
I think it's already there. This was actually a bill that the chairman of the Ag Committee introduced and was passed by the House and is now sitting in the Senate. And so it has that language plus an addition that deals with, as all of you remember, in CUVA, that you can cut out up to 5 acres and put a house on it, but the construction of the house has to commence within a period of 12 months. And it doesn't say anything about when it needs to be completed, but there are some tax assessors who have taken the position that it also has to be completed within that same 12-month period of time, even though that's not what the law says. And so this CUVA addition says that it has to be completed within 24 months to make clear that 12 months is not the magic number for the completion of the residence. And I presume that you're happy with that.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, said they let me, because I'm not familiar with that language and what you're actually trying to do there, so I'm not familiar with it, but I would ask the committee's diligence for me. I actually do have a CUVA bill that I had introduced last year. I had promised some of our good friends in the farm community that I wouldn't push the bill. Said I simply wanted to get the idea out there, but if the door ever got opened, I wanted to drive my truck through it, and it would
the door's already shut.
Said what I was going to ask the committee's favorable consideration for is to not put a CUVA bill on me, because that really is one that I would ask if you could to. I don't need to carry a CUVA bill when I've got one that I'd like to see CUVA improved and I think can greatly improve it. And I'd beg the committee not to dump that one on me. I wouldn't be a good salesperson.
All you got to do is agree when it comes over.
I understand, said but for me, it is a personal issue that I do think there's some things that we can do with conservation use value assessment that we're not doing today that we can do to improve the development of our state and improve what we're doing. And if there's any way that you could keep that off of this legislation, I'm very satisfied with the 2 bills that I'd been prompted on by the chairman before. And I just would ask that if there's another vehicle for you to move that to.
This is it. I'll do what you ask.
I mean, I quite honestly, it is one that is a problem for me. If there's any other way to move that legislation.
What's the pleasure of the committee? All right, there's a motion and a second. Do pass. Now, are there any amendments to the bill?
I would offer an amendment that the portion of the bill be taken out.
All right, there's a motion that lines 31 through 55 be deleted from the bill. Is there a second? Hearing none, the motion to amend fails for lack of a second. Any other amendments? Any other discussion?
I thought I heard something. Maybe my hearing's
So that would take out the rodeo and the 24 months.
That is correct.
Well, I didn't want to be the messenger on the. It's difficult for me when I've got a CUVA legislation that I want to do. I can stand to watch it go by, but to have to carry it is very difficult. But I understand. I'm
He's giving me the message that I need a second motion.
Well,
No,
you
you
don't,
have-
you
you
don't
have a-
necessarily have to listen to him. All right. It fails for lack of a second. Any other discussion or any other amendments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes on to rules. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Just tell your brother that I tried to help.
All right, the next item on the agenda is a constitutional amendment, which is Senate Resolution 604, and I think that's going to be presented by Representative Williamson.
Senator Meeks, I believe, is on the way, en route.
Okay. All right, well, we're gonna let Representative Williamson present.
So I'm presenting Senate Resolution 604 LC 344666. This simply proposes a constitutional amendment to permanently eliminate state ad valorem taxes. Over the last 5 years, there's been a phase out of the, it was a quarter mil, a quarter, 25 basis points ad valorem tax being collected 5 years ago is phased out by 5 basis points a year, and in 2016 it's 0. So this would amend the Constitution so that that tax would permanently go away. Happy to answer any questions.
Are there questions? Hearing none, what's the pleasure of the committee? There's a motion and a second to pass. Is there discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes and it goes to Rules Committee. I don't see any other items on the agenda. We are adjourned.